No matter how many of these videos I do, no matter how many times I put up people's cruise comments that they actually write into cruise lines, I am still amazed at some of the weird things that people write in, the audacity that some people write in with, and just some of the requests that people make because, yep, it's once again time for what every cruiser wants. Chris here with High Seas Cruising, and welcome to today's video and another episode of What Every Cruiser Wants, where I am going to read 3 real cruise comments that people actually write into cruise lines. And some of this stuff, you have to wonder, what were they thinking when they wrote it in? Is this really the way that some people think? Is this really the way that they want to cruise? But let's get into our first comment and find out if you guys agree or disagree with some of the things that they say. All right, so for our first comment, this is less of a comment and more of a straight insult to Carnival Cruise Line's brand ambassador, John Heald. Now, why this bothers him, I don't know, but let's take a look. John the Ambassador, what was your college GPA? Asking for those of us who scratch our heads, wondering how you got to hold this position and why an American does not have it, considering your repetitive American Cruise Line references. So yes, John Heald is the brand ambassador for Carnival Cruise Lines. Yes, he is from the UK. He lives over in England. Now, what does his GPA have to do with anything? And are people out there really scratching their heads wondering why he is not an American? Has this person never been on a cruise before and not noticed that the vast majority of crew members are not American? Or should we begin replacing non-American crew members with Americans? You know, all the cruise directors now need to be American. The fun squads need to be American. Servers, room stewards, bar staff, all need to be American because they're American's Cruise Line? Or does maybe this person just have a little something wrong in their head? You guys let me know in the comments below what you guys think about this. Me personally, it doesn't really bother me who my brand ambassador is or where he comes from, because if you ever go over to John Heald's page and take a look at the stuff that he posts a lot of information. He does try to help a lot of people, but he also takes a lot of grief from some ungrateful people as well. Have you ever been so mad about movies on a cruise ship that you're fuming? I mean, steam is coming out of your ears? Well, take a look at this comment, because according to this person, they were. I am fuming. Where is the list of April movies for our Magic Cruise you keep promising? Don't fob me off because my 11-year-old just asked me what movies they will have on the boat, and I keep telling her that I don't know because you have not told us. So have you ever been so concerned about the movies on board the ship that you were fuming? That's going to be my question for this comment. Now, don't get me wrong. People like to sit out and enjoy the movies, watch the movies, relax a little, have a little quiet time. I completely get that. Nothing wrong with it whatsoever. I've watched a movie or two on board a cruise ship. But I can tell you my cruises are not based on what movies are going to come on board the ship. The success of my vacation is not based on the list of movies that are going to come out on board the ship. And does anybody know of an 11-year-old that is really, genuinely, and utterly concerned that their vacation could be messed up by the list of movies that has not been released yet? What do you guys think about that? Now, I will tell you this much, just in case somebody doesn't know. The cruise lines themselves, well, they don't get to go and necessarily pick out the movies they want. It's not like they're going to log into their Amazon, log into their Netflix, and throw a movie up on the screen. Doesn't work that way. Movies are brought in by vendors. The vendors select what movies are available, what they can get, and then they hand them to the cruise ship, or they send them to the cruise ship. So until the vendors decide what the ship is going to get, the ship doesn't know what it's going to get. Because the cruise lines are not hiding what movies are going to be available on the ship. They say they don't have it yet. They just don't have it yet. All right, and for our last comment, I'm going to start off by asking a question before I even read the comment. That way you guys can be thinking about this as I read it. And the question is going to be, do you believe that this person was truly offended by something they saw on the cruise ship? Or are they using it as an excuse to try to get something for free? But let's take a look at the comment. That way you guys can decide for yourselves. My wife and my 16-year-old daughter are in cabin blank now on Carnival Pride. To celebrate our daughter's graduation, we had a meal at the steak restaurant. There is a giant fake David statue in the middle of the area on the second level of the steakhouse. We should not have had to eaten an expensive meal having this in our eye line. We should have been warned about this and all of the almost pornographic artwork which is in view all over the ship. The manager at the steak restaurant refused to refund our meal or at least be given a 50% discount. This was not the special evening we planned. All right, so if you've never sailed on the Carnival Pride, there is a replica of the statue of David in the steakhouse on board the ship. Now, it does have a few alterations and a few changes made to it. Basically, he's wearing some fig leaves, where, in the actual statue, he's wearing nothing. So his stuff is covered up. So kind of in the end, you're really looking at a guy with no shirt on, which you'll see straight up on the Lido deck. But they say they were offended. They said it was almost pornographic, and they wanted a refund for their steakhouse meal, or at least 50% because of their offense. Now, just reading the comment, what would you guys think? Do you think that they should be entitled to a refund if they felt offended? Should they have been given at least a 50% off if they felt offended? So that'll be the question right now. Now, keep in mind, at this point, you would think that if a person was that offended by something they saw, if it really bothered them so much, they would have gotten up, left the restaurant, and then wanted to, hey, we're not going to eat here because we are offended. We want our money back for this reservation. That would possibly make sense, right? But there's a little more to this story, because just like the other comments, this was also written into John Heald, the brand ambassador of Carnival Cruise Lines, and he reached out to the Carnival Pride. He wanted to know exactly what occurred. And when these folks apparently were offended by it, they did not get up and leave the restaurant due to offense. No. They ordered their food, ate all of their food, cleaned their plates according to John, then got up, then left, and then they were offended. So, I'll pose the question for a third time now that there is much more information. Should they have been given a refund? Now, I will say that had they decided at the very beginning, hey, this does not work for us, we don't really care for this, we would like to not use our steakhouse reservation, we would like to cancel it, and we would like to be refunded because of this, maybe I can get behind that one. But if you go into the restaurant and you sit down and you're like, oh, I'm offended by that, but let me go ahead and eat all of my food, then get up, leave, and become offended. And that brings me back to where I said at the very beginning, were they truly offended, or were they just trying to get something for free? You guys let me know what you think in the comments below about this one. All right, and that's going to be our video today for what every cruiser wants. I hope you have enjoyed today's video. If you have, do me a favor and hit that like button. If you haven't done so yet, do me a favor and hit subscribe. It is free to do so. Helps our channel grow. Let you know anytime we put out a new video. Hope everyone out there is having a really great day, and like always, we will see you out on the high seas.